Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I am Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. In a historic milestone, India and the UK successfully conclude ambitious and mutually beneficial free trade agreement along with a double contribution convention. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer accepts Indian Prime Minister's invitation to visit India after announcing a landmark trade deal in the shadow of Trump's tariffs. Germany's parliament holding a second vote on backing Friedrich Merz as chancellor after the debacle in the first round, throwing German politics into disarray. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval meets Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Union Home Secretary holds meeting with state chief secretaries on mock drills tomorrow to gauge civil defence preparedness. India and the UK have concluded their free trade agreement on Tuesday in a landmark deal that represents London's most significant post-Brexit pact that was finalized in the shadow of US President Donald Trump's tariff increases. Here are the main points from the agreement. UK has said that the pact is expected to boost bilateral trade between the world's fifth and sixth largest economies by £25.5 billion a year from 2040. Trade between the two nations totaled £42.6 billion in 2024. India was Britain's 11th largest trading partner. It added that the deal was the biggest and most economically significant bilateral trade agreement it had signed since leaving the European Union in 2020. As far as tariffs are concerned, India will slash levies on a number of British products sold in the country, from whiskey and medical devices to machinery and lamb. India will also cut automotive tariffs to 10% under a quota from over 100% currently. Other British goods which will face lower tariffs include cosmetics, aerospace, lamb, medical devices, salmon, electrical machinery, soft drinks, chocolates and biscuits. So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a social media post on X mentioned about his talk with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. He further mentioned about the historic India-UK free trade agreement, which is ambitious and mutually beneficial. Prime Minister Modi further looked forward to welcoming UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer to India soon. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has accepted an invitation to visit India from Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Starmer's office said on Tuesday after the leaders announced a landmark trade deal between the two countries. And we are now joined by Dr. Pralok Gupta, Associate Professor, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, IIFT, New Delhi. Welcome, sir, to the program. How significant do you regard this free trade pact between India and the UK in terms of its impact on the strategic partnership between the two nations and its impact on boosting trade, investment, economic growth, job creation and innovation in India? And does it in fact herald a new era in trade and the economy for both the countries, as British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said a short while ago?
Yes, Tanvi, this is certainly a very historic milestone for both India and UK. And this agreement was long pending. It started in 2022, and at that time the deadline was the Diwali of that year, but because of the political developments in UK it could not be concluded at that time. Then there were different phases, and it is a very good news that both India and UK have now concluded this historic deal. It will provide a lot of benefit to both the economies, particularly this time of global uncertainty. From India's perspective, a lot of labor-intensive sectors like your textiles, marine products, gems and jewelries, leather products, they will have a easier market access, duty-free market access in UK. So it is very much beneficial for Indian exporters, whether these are small industries or big firms, larger exporters. In the services side also, there is a lot of benefit to gain. So Indian ITS service professionals, management consultant, they will have easier market access in these economies. And one very important significant part of this agreement is that the social security or double contribution convention, where those workers who are there up to for 3 years, they will not be required to contribute to social security in UK. Now, this will be a huge advantage for Indian companies, particularly IT companies, because they are sending a lot of IT professionals to UK, and when there is a social security deduction, it is a cost to those companies. Now, that huge cost will be saved because they need not be contributing to social security in UK. So that is a very milestone, a very significant achievement of this FTA.
So this deal is also a symbol of Britain's hopes for its independent trade policy after leaving the European Union. If you could elaborate a little bit more on how crucial is the deal, especially for the United Kingdom?
Definitely, because earlier, if you see the history of British UK deals, most of the deals that UK has signed, these were the continuation agreement from the EU. Those deals which were already signed by EU and later on continued by UK in some form. So they are, I would say, they are building upon already existing deal with the EU when UK was the part of EU. So this is one of the deal that UK was very much eyeing for, and this clearly signifies that as an independent country, independent of EU, they have come to the terms of a country like India, and now both have signed this mutually beneficial deal.
And does the conclusion of the India-UK Free Trade Pact also give us reason to believe that India and the USA will also be able to quickly and happily sort out any issues regarding their bilateral trade at an early date?
I think that that will happen because both sides have the leaders at both sides indicated that they are going in the right direction. There would, of course, will some challenges in the trade deal, but I am sure that these would be handled very soon by both the countries, and the timeline that is decided by both the sides, that would be adhered to, and there would be a trade deal with the US. India.
For now, it's a landmark deal between India and the UK. Thank you very much, Dr. Pralok Gupta, for joining us on DD India Live. All right, let's move on. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday morning. This is the second time the Prime Minister has been briefed by the National Security Advisor in the past 48 hours. And it comes a day before state governments will conduct their mock security drills. Prime Minister Modi has held multiple high-level meetings with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, NSA Ajit Doval, Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan, the Army, Navy and Air Force chiefs over the past few days. Last week, the Prime Minister gave the armed forces complete freedom to decide on the mode, targets and timing of India's military response. So India is conducting mock security drills for the first time since the 1971 war with Pakistan for effective civil defence in the event of a hostile attack. The drill is extended to the village level. It will assess readiness and coordination of the civil defence forces involving officials, volunteers, NCC, NSS, NYKS and students.
There will be a number of measures taken, such as assessing the operationalization of air raid warning sirens with testing hotline and radio links with Indian Air Force. Testing the functionality of control rooms and shadow control rooms will be done. It will also include the training of civilians, including students, on civil defense aspects to protect themselves in the event of a hostile attack, such as firefighting, rescue, and warden services. Another feature of the mock drill is to ensure blackout and camouflage readiness and the provision for early camouflaging of vital plants or installations. And lastly, evacuation plans and its rehearsal will be conducted and assessed.
Now, 20 kilometers from the capital city Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir lies Kihama. Developed as a craft village by the Indian government, this village houses 500 artisans that weave the world-famous Kani shawls. DD India's Vishal Baristo travelled to Kihama to bring us this ground report post the horrific Pahalgam terror attack.
Kihama, which derives its name from these wooden spools that weave magic on the looms. Here in this common facilitation center, Faisal Ahmed Bhatt is busy weaving the Hindu god Ganesha.
जी सर, मैं बना रहा हूँ इस वक्त गणेश जी बना रहा हूँ। जिससे मैं ये काम कर रहा हूँ, इसको बोलते हैं कहानी और इसको बोलते हैं तालीम। ये तो 6 महीने में ख़त्म हो जाएगा।
Sajjad Ahmed Wani, the man in charge of this center, is carrying his father's legacy. Kani shawls are world famous, prepared with pashmina wool that is available with pashmina goats in Ladakh.
तो पहलगाम अटैक टूरिस्ट नहीं आ रहे हैं तो वो उससे तो फर्क पड़ता ही है, लेकिन क्या है कि हम ये 30 साल से झेल रहे हैं सर।
The village has 300 houses that weave the traditional magic of Kani shawls. It is the only source of earning for Mohammad Ashraf and his family. When asked about the Pahalgam attack, his pain spills out.
इंसानियत का खून होता है तो तकलीफ ही होता है। इंसानियत का खून होगा तकलीफ ही होता है।
The economy of this village is directly connected with tourism, and so this attack from Pakistan affects all.
The village boasts of not a single terrorist from its place. It's a slap on the enemy across the border that wants to spread poison and hatred in Kashmir, because Kihama is all about love and creativity. With cameraman Mohit Uike from Kihama Village in Kashmir, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
And on to the other big news of the day coming from Germany. Well, the Bundestag is holding a second vote on Tuesday on backing Friedrich Merz as chancellor after the veteran conservative leader failed to secure enough support in the first round of voting. Merz needed 316 votes to secure a majority, but won the backing of only 310 MPs, with 307 voting against in the first round. Merz's Conservative Party had formed a new coalition with the Social Democrats on Monday after winning the national elections in February. This development has thrown the Europe's largest economy into disarray. So the results of the second vote will be out in some time. This is a developing story at the moment. You're watching DD India Live, still to come on this show. Druze residents near Syria's capital resist to turn in arms as tensions boil with the minority group and the government. Indian space ambitions are taking flight as New Delhi hosts GLEX, Global Space Exploration Conference 2025.
How does it feel when another country recognizes your efforts in a particular field? And here it is yoga for the world, we say.
To be recognized for yoga by India, the birthplace of yoga, that is such a great honor. So thank you to the President, the Prime Minister and the Government of India.
In India also, we have yoga in the schools and children are practicing it. What is your perception of or your thoughts on yoga for children?
I think it's a great way for them to start. It's a fun way for them to start.
What is it that you love the most when you come to India?
It's just a feeling, it's a vibe you get when you arrive. It's comfortable. To feel comfortable is a blessing.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday discussed the progress talks between Iran and the United States with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian. Putin said that Russia is ready to facilitate dialogue between Iran and the US to reach a fair agreement. Kremlin said that they also discussed bilateral relations, including the development of major energy projects. Further, Kremlin on Tuesday said that the Russian forces still planned to cease fire in Ukraine from May 8th to 10th as per President Vladimir Putin's orders, but would respond if Ukrainian forces tried to strike Russian positions. Putin on April 28th declared a 3-day ceasefire to mark the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Soviet Union and its allies over Nazi Germany in the Second World War. The Kremlin said that the 72-hour ceasefire would run on May 8th and 9th, when Putin will host international leaders on Moscow's Red Square, including Chinese President Xi Jinping. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has so far appeared to rule out such a brief ceasefire, saying he's only ready to sign up to a ceasefire that would last at least 30 days. An idea Putin has said needs a lot of work before it could actually become a reality. Meanwhile, on to the West Asian crisis now. A senior Hamas official has said on Tuesday that the group was no longer interested in truce talks with Israel. The official said that the world must pressure the government of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to end the conflict in Gaza. The statement by Hamas comes just days after Israel announced the expansion of its operations in Gaza against the Hamas settlements. The IDF has stated that the expansion of the operation would result in mass displacement. While Israel's military spokesman, Efi Defren, said that the planned offensive will include moving most of the population of the Gaza Strip in order to protect them. Syria's minority Druze community is resisting a demand by the authorities to hand in their weapons, saying officials have yet to address fears of new attacks by Sunni militants after days of sectarian violence. Last week, several Druze residents were killed in clashes with Sunni militants near capital Damascus. Syrian authorities have negotiated deals to allow Druze fighters to protect their own areas as enlisted members of Syria's security forces, but this week asked that all weapons held by residents be turned in to the state.
We don't want weapons, but give us a guarantee. Give us a guarantee that if we hand over the weapons, the existing general security will govern the city. There is a municipality and a court. This is the arrangement that countries make. They provide guarantees and safety for the citizens, not terror and intimidation. This is unacceptable. And if things go on in this direction, the country is heading to a place that is not good at all.
European Trade Commissioner Maros Sefcovic on Tuesday said that the European Union does not feel under undue pressure to accept an unfair trade deal with the United States. He added that other trading partners were very keen to accelerate talks with the bloc.
We do not feel under undue pressure to accept the deal which would not be fair for us. We are absolutely clear that we are the biggest trading bloc on this planet, with very strong economy and with very biggest actually the network of our free trade agreements. And we know that this negotiation might not in the end succeed despite of all our sincere efforts. So therefore, we of course are preparing for the possible and might be needed rebalancing.
India is reaching for the stars as New Delhi hosts the Global Space Exploration Conference. Indian Air Force's Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla gears up for a historic ISS mission. With Gaganyaan underway and a national space station planned by 2035, India's space ambitions are taking flight. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports.
India is set to mark a major milestone in its space journey. The Global Space Exploration Conference GLEX 2025 will be held in New Delhi from May 7th to 9th. Organized by the International Astronautical Federation, the event is being hosted by ISRO and co-hosted by the Astronautical Society of India. ISRO Chairman Dr. V. Narayanan confirmed that Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla of the Indian Air Force will fly to the International Space Station in June aboard the AX-4 mission. This historic flight will make him the first Indian to visit the ISS and the first Indian in space in over 40 years, following Rakesh Sharma's 1984 mission. India has also joined the elite group of nations with docking capabilities, becoming the fourth country to do so. The country's ambitions extend further with the Gaganyaan mission, India's first human space flight program. The mission budget has been increased to 20,000 crore rupees with plans for 8 flights. The goal, to send a habitable capsule into a 400-kilometer orbit and bring it back safely. India is also eyeing the future, planning to establish the Bharatiya Antariksh Station by 2035 and send a crewed mission to the moon by 2040. India's space program is accelerating and the world is watching. Tapas Bhattacharya's report for DD India.
Next updates from the 7th edition of the Khelo India Youth Games 2025. Karnataka has been leading the medals tally in the early days of the event, with Rajasthan, Maharashtra and Delhi trailing closely. In the football events, boys category, Meghalaya team registered an emphatic victory over Chandigarh by 10-1. In another match, the Odisha team overpowered West Bengal in a close contest by 2-1. Rajasthan secured the gold medal in an exciting 10-meter air rifle mixed team event held in New Delhi in the archery competitions held so far. Maharashtra has established its dominance by superb performance in this edition of the Youth Games. The national capital is hosting events in shooting, cycling and gymnastics, while all other sports are being held in Bihar. Sepak Takraw has been included in 2025 Khelo India Youth Games being held in the eastern state of Bihar. The sport has seen a surge in participation and a growing number of national players. It originated in Malaysia and reached India via the northeast region. Sepak Takraw or foot volleyball is a team sport. It is played with a ball made of rattan between two teams on a ground resembling a badminton court. Players can use their feet, knees, shoulders, chest and head to touch the ball. Sepak Takraw's technical manager Dr. Karunesh Kumar shared many important details related to the sport. India's sports culture is changing fast. Young athletes and their families are driving this change. From Rajasthan, Harsha Jakars' story stands out. She won a gold in cycling at the Khelo India Youth Games 2025. Her father is her coach. Her brother is also a gold medalist. The whole family is into cycling. Here's an exclusive report by Narayan Singh on this winning team and India's growing sporting spirit.
India's sporting landscape is changing. The rise in participation, especially among young women, signals a new era. Families across the nation are now embracing sports not just as a hobby, but as a way of life. A shining example of this transformation comes from Rajasthan. The Jakar family. Harshita, a young cyclist from Rajasthan, has made her mark at the Khelo India Youth Games 2025, winning 2 gold medals in cycling. What makes her journey even more inspiring is that it's a family affair. Her father, Rakesh Kumar, is not just her biggest supporter, but also her coach. Her brother, Aditya Jakar, added to the family's glory by also winning a gold medal at the Khelo India Youth Games.
मोदी जी कह रहे हैं कि स्पोर्ट्स को ज़्यादा मोटिवेट करो कि जैसे स्पोर्ट्स में पहले लड़कियां नहीं होती थी, अब ज़्यादातर लड़कियां भी आने लग गई है। पहले मैं जब छोटी मैंने स्टार्ट किया था तब हमारी स्टेट से 5-6 लड़कियां खेलती थी। अब ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लड़कियां पार्टिसिपेट कर रही हैं, तो मुझे लगता है कि स्पोर्ट्स बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है हमारे लाइफ में। वैसे
The Jakars represent what Khelo India stands for, a deep-rooted sports culture driven by passion and family support.
ये खेलो इंडिया बहुत ही अच्छी स्कीम है सर। मैं मोदी जी का धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ और इसी तरह खेलो इंडिया के थ्रू गेम को और इंक्रीज़ करें।
खेलो इंडिया काफ़ी कारगर साबित हो रहा है। ये जो हमारे भारत सरकार की जो योजना है खेलो इंडिया, इसमें टैलेंट सर्च, टैलेंट आइडेंटिफिकेशन में भी काफ़ी ये फ़ायदा दे रही है। इससे काफ़ी बच्चे जो है जिनमें टैलेंट है उनका टैलेंट सर्च हो रहा है और उनको फिर सेलेक्ट करके खेलो इंडिया स्कीम के तहत या जो साई की जो स्कीम है उनमें और कोच और इक्विपमेंट वगैरह प्रोवाइड करा के इनकी परफॉर्मेंस डेवलपमेंट के लिए उनको विशेष ट्रेनिंग डाइट दी जाती है.
Harshita's journey doesn't stop here. In February, she delivered a remarkable performance at the Asian Junior Cycling Championships 2025, clinching 5 medals across track and road events. Her achievements reflect India's rising stature in international cycling. The Khelo India initiative is doing more than organizing competitions. It is shaping champions, uniting families, and building a strong sporting nation. Narayan Singh's report for DD India.
That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live, and you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.